This is tropical monsoon forest, and then we'll have, because I'm waiting for the tundra and taiga, Mediterranean region. Okay, put the heading in your notebook. Let's see. Tropical monsoon forest. And that Podar also something what the new thing they keep on saying. है ना? उधर भी ICSE है अपना बैच. KHR26. उसके आगे वो है ना टॉप बॉस्को. People 12 year degree students.
Travis Scott ने सेंट्रल सीखा.
हाँ, Travis Scott ने आया था. Write down the heading. Tropical monsoonal type. Write the location. I am only giving. Write down the location. Come on, guys. Let's make it up short and sweet. क्या कर रहे? छोड़ना उसको. What are you fiddling with inside the class? Write down. Located in southern Asia. With onshore wet monsoons, ब्रैकेट में डालो summer. ये थोड़ा सा tricky है. Onshore wet monsoon, inside the bracket you write summer, but offshore dry monsoon, ब्रैकेट में डालो winter. I think इसका वीडियो है. I'll show you. Offshore dry monsoon in the winter. Next point, same heading, climate only. Marine type of climate, tropical marine type of climate. Regions receiving steady rainfall. Regions receiving steady rainfall. All the time. Just 1 minute. Now you say the word tropical, again we are in the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn only, within that only. But it is monsoon. As it is the word monsoon, you will get very good shot. Look at this video. In fact, this one. That's
Rolling out. Remember specially.
Welcome dear.
My time था क्योंकि मेरा हाथ में
What I was saying.
have centers in the concert. I didn't. Sir,
No, but what is he saying?
There were a few concerts in Sector 35. Saturday, Sundays.
मुझे तो अभी नहीं लगता. तो मैं जाने से पहले
तो क्लासिक कैंसिल करते की वजह से सेंटर सी डिवाइन
ये सब आपके जमाने के लोग. हमारे जमाने तो सब बुड्ढे आपा मियां बहुत चले गए.
वो अभी
कौन है
आपको 20-30 साल के बाद ऊपर को मिलेगा आपको सर.
कौन है? इंडियन जी है.
इंडियंस अफ्रीकन बाद में ऑस्ट्रेलियंस
किधर हुआ? 35 मतलब किधर हुआ?
तलुजा पे.
अभी मैं तलुजा पे ही बात कर रहा था.
Do you have a degree in physics, chemistry, biology, and you're looking for a career?
Yes, I am looking for a career. I want some
asking. But मैं बोला रे.
It is marketing.
But तलुजा
ग्राउंड लिया था 3 किलोमीटर का पूरा हो गया था बाकी 4000 तक बचा.
चलो जाने दो. What's this? Very beautiful climate. ये म्यूजिक वो है. So it's all picnic spots. जितना भी beaches वगैरह रहेगा वो Mediterranean में आएगा. Wait, this is that island one. Bangkok.
Sir, it's famous for a few things.
Why do you really Thailand for that only? There's so many.
Sir, बहुत अच्छा है.
हाँ, मेरा भी कुछ सेमिनार कॉन्फ्रेंस ILSH it's listen very good time.
The freshness of spring, the heat of summer, the chill of autumn, and the cold winter. But for billions of people on our planet that live in the tropics, the seasons are marked by the presence and absence of rain.
Now they'll say
The rains after months of drought, with the renewal of life from the giving water. And then, after months of rain and cloud, the sun reborn into blue skies as the next dry season begins. This is the domain of the tropical wet and dry climates. This is the tropical monsoon and the tropical savanna.
That savanna African. Again,
In this episode, we look at the tropical rainforest climate zone.
और इंडिया का मेघालय मानसून तरफ से यही रहता है.
But most of the lands of the tropics experience some kind of drought or reduction in rainfall during the year. The severity of this drought and the total amount of rain that falls in a year determines whether it comes under the classification of monsoon or savanna. Monsoon areas are overall wetter or have a shorter drier season, while savannas are drier overall or have a longer drier season. So what accounts for this variation in rain? In the tropics, the sun will be directly above you at noon at some point in the year. And if the sun is directly above, it means it's heating that part of the earth more than any other. And that means rising air, pulling up moist air from the surrounding seas and oceans, and lots of rain. The bank of the earth where these winds come together has for centuries been called the doldrums by sailors, because there is very little wind.
What is the exact meaning of doldrums? Maybe. But there is no direction. Any direction they flow, and they bring a lot of rainfall.
And this conflict can lead to weeks or even months of being stranded in the sailing ship. The rains follow this wind as it tracks the sun above and below the equator throughout the year. In July, it's summer, so this band is located to the north of the equator, while in January, it is at its furthest extent south of the equator. The winds which point to this convergence are called the trade winds, named by those same sailors in centuries past, since they were so busy that sailing ships could countermand by their trade. In the tropical wet and dry climate zones, these winds switch direction throughout the year, depending upon whether the dolphins move north or south. When they originate from the ocean, they bring in moisture and rain. But when they come from the land, they are bone dry and nothing. So what type of landscapes do we find in these regions? Depending on the severity or longevity of the dry season, we can find anything from tropical forests to open grasslands. On the wetter side of the spectrum, we find much of the jungle of the Amazon in Southeast Asia. But such forests do not have as rich a biodiversity as the tropical rainforest. As the rainfall reduces the further out we go, we find less dense, drier forests.
As we are moving upper to the north and south,
the savanna itself. The tropical grasslands of Africa are perhaps some of the most iconic landscapes in the world. Here, the biodiversity of the tropical rainforest is exchanged for huge numbers of large herbivorous animals that trek for hundreds of miles each year to follow the rains and the green grass that feeds their vast numbers. And they themselves are followed by world-famous bird species who don't want to let all that water and food go to waste. Much of Southeast Asia and India is given over to the production of rice, which excels in producing 2 or more harvests each year. Such productivity is one reason why Asian nations have such large populations compared to other parts of the world. In Central America, the Caribbean and Brazil, sugarcane is the most famous of world crops that has dominated these areas for centuries. While in West Africa, we find much of the land given over to cocoa production. So one could say that we are thankful for the savanna climate, for our most favourite of foods, chocolate. So where in the world do we find the tropical wet and dry seasons? In the tropics, obviously. That is, between 23 degrees north and south of the equator. Starting in the Americas, this zone encompasses the southern tip of Florida, much of southern Mexico, and most of Central America and the Caribbean. Large tracts of Venezuela, Brazil, and lowland Bolivia are given over to the savanna and tropical forest, and this climate zone accounts for almost half of all land area in South America, such as its extent. In Africa, we find practically all of the West and Central African nations under the savanna, along with Tanzania, Mozambique, and Madagascar in the southeast. In Asia, most of southern India, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka is in this climate zone. The famous monsoon western coast of India experiences the most extreme wet and dry seasonal variation in the world, as you'll see in the upcoming city graphs. All of Burma.
What is it? Takta Malik. Is it anything related to Bangladesh?
Again, what are
Bangladesh.
Takta change होने का word है.
Takta Malik कुछ तो है.
That is one descendant will be coming with the other. You have eaten the last part of the word. So कुछ भूल के और कुछ डाल. Takta palat.
हाँ तख्ता पलट सॉरी हाँ
सॉरी
हम लोग
तख्ता मलिक
हम लोग जब IIM
अच्छा हाँ I didn't ask you क्या कैसा हुआ
what was it
and
I got second place
वो पहला बोला था
तो एक केन्या का था उसने बांग्लादेश को चिढ़ाने के लिए तख्ता पलट करके उसमें चिढ़ा रहा था एक लड़की तख्ता पलट
अभी तक मिस्टर मुनीर है ना वो मुनीर भी नहीं
मुनीर.
Shall we go into the note sections or you want to see videos? तो और एक बोल रहा है वो बेचारा और कुछ बोल रहा है
Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, the coast of Vietnam, and the Philippines. Last, the northern coast of Australia experienced a monsoon at the opposite time of year to its more famous Indian brother.
Such a smooth.
So we talk about all those billions of people living in this climate zone. Well, most of these live in developing countries, and yet we find enormous cities here.
6 lane roads.
Some of them are famous. Here are the biggest and brightest.
my favorite they don't get like banana. अरे इसकी नाम जाना गोवा, you are from Goa. गोवा में भी अभी गोवा का हमारा कपड़े बड़े डाल हमारे इंडियंस भी वहाँ से आते हैं I can make a lot of very good ढाका कैपिटल ऑफ बांग्लादेश this is the
Well, that's it for this climate zone.
So, let us get into our main topic. Chalo, write the heading, let's finish it. Not play. We are into tropical monsoon type forest. Location, write down. A location I have given, na? I will write areas. Asia, you start with India and end with, you go up till Sri Lanka, then take Philippines and Taiwan, and in between Vietnam. इंडिया का पैसा 20,000 है ना, उधर का 1-2 करोड़ या 1 करोड़ कुछ है वियतनाम. Very poor people.
हम लोग जाने वाले एक बार गए.
It is very good, especially Ho Chi Minh.
It's cheap.
Indian currency is double, triple percent. Then you write Australia. Australia, don't waste the time, write down.
It is Madagascar. ये आइलैंड के बारे में मुझे बताओ, मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ. Madagascar and East Africa. मेरा माँ बोलती है मैं ये आइलैंड में सब जान नहीं सकते, वीडियो में देख लेंगे. Madagascar I and she was watching. Then you write Central America. It is Jamaica. What are you doing? Write down. Read that. Jamaica. It is Honduras. Honduras. H-O-N. अच्छा है, चीन है. Honduras. And the last place is Nicaragua. Nicaragua. Then Eastern Brazil, bracket में डाल South America. Brazil, South America. Then write Eastern Australia bus. Then come to climate. Hot summers and cool winters. I'm doing very short and sweet notes. इतना ही लिखो example. Hot summers and cool. Hot summers. Did I say cool winters?
Yes.
With tropical monsoon specific time period. Tropical monsoon specific time period. Next. Same heading.
Yes.
And go to temperature.
Okay.
Summer temperature between 27 to 30 degree. And the winter 5 degree to 18. वो interior coastal दिया वो मैं नहीं दे रहा हूँ, इतना भी लिखा तो बहुत होता है. And the winter is 5 degree to 18 degree. Next point. Irregular monsoon. Irregular monsoon and frequent cyclonic disturbances. Next. Good question. Sentence के monsoon depends on rainfall instead of temperature. Next you write rainfall. Next to the hot summer. Next to hot summer. Refreshing rainfall, winds blowing from sea to land. Winds blowing from sea to land, but in winter, reversal. You know what is reversal na? वो कौन सा wind है वो? Blowing from land to sea. Winds blow from land to sea. In exams, please compete with these girls because I have seen always boys are always behind. मैं जब तक मेरा HSC पास नहीं हुआ ना, I was the only boy who used to give tough fight to all the girls. तो हमारा प्रिंसिपल से लेके हमारा HOD सब बोलता था, पहले के से एक लड़का काफी है, तो लड़का एक्सेप्ट चलती थी मेरे ऊपर. How do you get it so good marks? Why don't you go and ask teachers? Why? She only give the marks. Oh, you have written wonderful. Can I see your paper? ऐसी बात करती थी. तो पेपर लेके जाती थी. वो मैं हमेशा फंस बैठा. लास्ट में जाके बैठ के ये करने का. तो मेरा दोस्त ने कहा मुझे तेरा पेपर करना टाइम है. छोड़ रहे हो मेरे पास यार. लेकिन I have seen your paper. Fantastic marks. Out of 5 I got 5 Mala. And she got 3.5, somewhere 4. I just lost marks here only. एक बार मैं लड़के को बोला, she is the second one. Shall we exchange our papers? Means एक काम कर दो. हमारा ऐसा रहता है, title अलग रहेगा और paper अलग रहेगा. You just snatch your paper, stick it out to me,
I'll snatch my but stick it not big. कुछ भी बोलता है, मतलब कुछ भी नहीं, तेरा पापा को लेके जा। फिर 12th होते होते some people talks पूरा कॉलेज में फैल गए, उन दोनों का कुछ चल रहा है ना, बिकॉज हम लोग कभी लड़कियों के साथ बैठते रहते हैं, लड़कियाँ आएगी सामने सीखने के लिए मेरे साथ बैठी रही, तो मेरा क्लास टीचर है, देना द रैंक होल्डर्स, मैं बोला why is she sitting with you? तो बोला तू जा मैडम पे डाउट कर, इट्स ओके नोबडी डाउट्स। हो गया, साल खत्म हुआ, मैं डिग्री कॉलेज गया था, देखो तो ये मैडम का एडमिशन उधर ही हुआ है, फिर यार हेलो यू आर इन दिस कॉलेज, मेरा छोटू क्या कर रही थी? No, I thought of you know continuing with you, बोले क्या studies अब पूरा डिग्री कॉलेज में किसी लड़की से बात नहीं करता, ये बाहर से आएगी हेलो सब लड़के लोग देखते रहेंगे, उधर से सब लेकिन इसी तरह बोले तेरा फंडा में कोई कॉल नहीं, वो मेरी जेसी के साथ बट धीरे से अलग से बात करते हैं, तो अभी जेसी का फ्रेंड तो बात करेंगे, फर्स्ट ईयर हुआ, सेकंड ईयर हुआ, थर्ड ईयर में उसका एक मैरिज का इनविटेशन कार्ड लेकर आई, नो व्हाट इज दिस, आई वाज टेलिंग माय फादर नॉट टू गेट मैरिड, नो व्हाई योर फादर इज गेटिंग मैरिड, कुछ भी इज मी, मैं सोचा कि भाई के बाद कुछ बात आगे बढ़ेगा, क्योंकि 12th से तो हमारा दोनों का पूरा नाम आवा था, कैसे बोलूं ना, यू विल बी कमिंग, मतलब ये टू माय मैरिज, मेरे तो मुंह में लाल हो गया, व्हाट आर यू थिंकिंग, डोंट शो योर फेस टू बी ऑनेस्ट, लाइफ में पहले बार इतना गुस्सा हुआ, चलिए नेक्स्ट दिन मेरे एक फ्रेंड को बोल रही, yesterday I went to get the card and he didn't answer, ऊपर से मुझे गुस्से में बोला, वो लड़की को मेरा और उसका थोड़ा सा चल रहा है, उसका मालूम था कि भाग के आई, तेरी वाली आई थी, क्या कर रही थी, आज उसने बोला तुम कार्ड में मेरा भरोसा बोलते हो, तो भी क्या बोलने का था उसको, तो तुझे मालूम है ना, एक काम करता हूँ, आज जाके शाम को बोल के आया, पागल, जब उसने पूछा कि कुछ है कि नहीं करके, तुझे तभी बोला, हाँ यार मैं भी सोच रही थी बोलूं कि नहीं, फिर उसका भाई आया काट, और मेरा दोस्त ने बोला अल्केश को काटने देगा क्या, अरे अल्केश ने ना मेरे को प्रपोज नहीं किया, उसका भाई का बोली एक्सपेक्ट था, मुझे नहीं मालूम है उनका चला, पूरा कॉलेज को मालूम था, और तुझे फिर जैसे कार्ड रखेगा ये भाई साहब को इसका भाई आ रहा है तेरे पास कार्ड, लाइफ को कॉमेडी तो सुनो, ये उसको मैं करके आने गया, अरे छूट ना कार्ड ले ले तू मत जा, आएगा नहीं तो टांग फोन रख के फिर आया, फिर आई फॉरगॉट आई वाज कंटिन्यूइंग माय स्टडीज, 1.5 साल हुआ, मेरे एक दोस्त था तमिलियन, भाग गया, अरे गुड न्यूज़ है क्या है, वो लफर ही था, हर चैनल में एक बदल था, अरे गुड न्यूज़ है जूनियर अल्केश बोनो look at the message, अरे उसकी बोझा पड़ लगा, अरे तुझे नहीं उसको हुआ है लड़का, उसको हुआ तो मेरे दिखता तेरे जैसे, तो मैं इतना हंसा ना, छोले के क्या सब रोल रहता था, और मेरे साथ हाँ मैंने भी वही बोला कैसे वो लड़का अल्केश के तो ये तो फिर भी ठीक है, ऊपर में जब गया मैंने जब भाई के घर पे मैं रहता था एक बाजू में शी वाज प्रेग्नेंट मैंने वेट कर लिया, और लेडी हमेशा आने का बॉम्बे में आप कहाँ रहते हैं, और मेरा भाई बोलेगा अरे वो लेडी से ज़्यादा बात नहीं करते बैठ जाए, फिर चाय मैंने सुना आप अच्छा बनाते हैं, और साउथ में कैसे जो प्रेग्नेंट है वो जनरली रहता है, मैं भी जाने देकर के बोलेंगे, फिर बोलेंगे अब मैंने सुना डोसा भी अच्छा बनाता है, तो मैं क्या करूँ, ऐसा हो गया, then around the 6 months I was there and I came back, फिर मेरा भाई का फोन आ गया 4 या 5 महीने का, उसको लड़का हुआ है, बोला अभी ये मत बोलो मेरे जैसा दिखता है, बोले तुझे कैसे मालूम है, ये जो ऑलरेडी बॉम्बे में मेरे साथ हुआ है, फिर मैं 3 महीने का छुट्टी में गया, फिर भाई आपको मैंने सोचा पार्टी देने का, इस बात का पति मुझे लड़का हुआ है, आपको मालूम है हुआ है, कभी मैं क्या मैं सब लोग आए थे विश करने, आप अकेले नहीं आए थे। अच्छा ठीक है, काम कर बर्थडे रहेगा तो मुझे बुला। तो लोग एक कॉन्डो छोड़ के दूसरा कॉन्डो में बर्थडे था उसका फर्स्ट, मैं उधर ही सिंगापुर में काम करता। तो मेरा भाभी आई, चलो 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 जाने का पार्टी है, किसका पार्टी? अरे तेरा बेटे का। अरे मैं क्या लेडी से जरा अच्छा बात करूँ, मेरे दे वांटेड टू टॉक टू मी, और मेरे भाभी कर उससे बात मत करो, उसका बॉम्बे में है, शादी भी हो गया, 2-3 बच्चे, ये चुपचाप रहे। उसके सामने कोई लेडी से बात नहीं करती। मैं तुम्हारा मम्मी ने बोला है कि मेरा बेटा को थोड़ा संभालने के मम्मी में तो वो इतना बड़ा जोक बना, इतना नहीं वेंट टू द पार्टी आल्सो। 1 साल हो गया, मेरा लड़का कैसा है, तो भाभी इधर आओ क्यों, मैं देखो लड़का कैसे दिखता है, मतलब कुछ देखने को जरूरत नहीं। फिर एमआरटी यू हैव गॉन ना, एमआरटी एक लेक साइड करके एमआरटी काम लोग रहते थे, और एक एमआरटी ना इट्स फुल्ली अंडरग्राउंड, देयर इज नो कमिंग अप। आई थिंक वो लड़की, इफ आई एम नॉट सो रॉन्ग ना, 6 to 8 months का रहेगी वो बच्ची। हम लोग जिस कोच में चला ना, वो लड़की भी, उसका पापा थे और उसकी मम्मी भी था। उसका पापा ऐसा रहता था, और बार बहुत छोटा लड़की ना मुझे देख देख के हंस रही है। मैं एमआरटी में खड़ा, बहुत क्यूट सी बच्ची, तमिलियन। तो मैंने सिर्फ ऐसा वेव किया ना, तुरंत मेरे हाथ पर सम्मा ली। मेरा पापा सब देख लिया, नहीं रहे तेरे पापा तो फिर भी सुन नहीं रहे। मैं तो उसके पापा ने बोला 2 मिनट रख दो, फिर मेरे पापा लगे बाप कुछ बोले। बोला नहीं एक काम करो, मेरी भाभी है, नहीं वो आप ही के पास आना चाहती। फिर मैंने लिया, अच्छे से दे दिया। फिर मेरा भाई आके थोड़ा लेट आता है, मैं जल्दी जाता ड्यूटी पे। आज है ना एमआरटी में ना एक लड़की बच्चा मिला, तो वो आपके भाई पे इतना फिदर थी। 6 साल की मतलब 6 महीने से नहीं है, मैं आपका बहन का डेथ हो गया, बोला शायद आपका बहन, मेरा बहन इंडिया में हुआ, वो 6-7 साल हो गया, वो सिंगापुर में बॉर्न। ये लेडीज का कहा से, मुझे ऐसा लगा 1 मिनट, पूरा क्राउड में सिर्फ आप ही को बचा। मुझे डर लग रहा था कि तू बोलेगी ये भी बच्चा। बट इन रियलिटी ना, इन लोग का रिलीजन भी बोलता है, देयर आर 1% अलग ना, देयर आर क्लोज टू 2 to 3 लुकअलाइक्स। एक्चुअली 7 होता है, बट 7 को तो कहाँ से ढूंढेगा ना। वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड टोल्ड मी एग्जैक्टली लाइक मी ओनली, पीठ भी ऊपर नीचे। एक लड़का गोवंडी चेंबूर में रहता है, मतलब एक नहीं एग्जैक्टली सेम छोटा मेरे से छोटा, याद नहीं रही। इसने बोला सर एक बार आओ, वो जो लड़का था ना वो मेरे से भी छोटा था, मतलब he was 4 years old, elder to me। तो हमेशा बोलता था कभी आ जाओ मैं देखा देता हूँ। मैंने उसको भी बोला, मतलब उधर क्या करना है, तो सारा स्टोरी तो उल्टा पुल्टा करती नहीं चाहिए। Because when we see all these regions ना, these especially these American regions, आज भी कुछ Negroes है, American Negroes, they worship Lord Shiva and their main Bhagwan is Shiv and Parvati नहीं, snakes। जब ये Amazon और वो बेसिन में जब वो एनाकोंडा मिलता था ना, these people used to worship them। and आप एनाकोंडा का पार्ट 1 मूवी देखिएगा ना, those red Indians are worshipping them, और ये जो अमेरिकन जाता है उसको पकड़ने जाता है, उसका नाम भी बोलता है, जो you have seen, his name is John White। that fellow देख रहे हो, but too good part 1, टाटा स्काई पार्ट, but बाकी पार्ट उतना अच्छा नहीं लगा, but part 1 was something too good। चलो ऑस्ट्रेलिया हो गया, क्लाइमेट हो गया, नेक्स्ट टेम्परेचर डिड आई गिव, वो भी दे दिया, रेनफॉल भी दिया ना मैंने। हाँ, नाउ राइट सीजन्स, distinctive seasons, distinctive seasons with cool dry winters and hot summer, with cool dry winters and hot summer, and
and copy down these seasons. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, as it is. That is the word I use the word distinctive. Unlike other regions, they have distinctive seasons. So these are the keys of your bike, is it? Ring lock.
Yes. My bike is a little bit thin-tied, so it is difficult to control.
तो फिर वो है ना तेरे पास gear है ना? Try to keep it in the smaller scale. Don't keep it in the large scale. तो फिर आपको दर्द बहुत होगा है ना?
Oh,
पेडलिंग में.
और छोटे स्केल में रखा तो फिर साइकिल चला नहीं सकते.
तो at least you will not be prone to accident. Copy down all that seasons by putting 1, 2, 3, 4. हाँ. During our school days, इस college में एक लड़के के पास वैसा था, वो racing वाला. And I used to be a big fan. पतला सा टायर है ना. और हमारा कॉलेज ऐसा था, इतना हाइट में वो ऐसा लेके शफी उसमें. बोला ये मुझे दे. फिर तू चला तो दे रे. सिर्फ चलाया नीचे छोड़ दिया. देखा तो दोनों पैर यही नहीं ब्रेक ही नहीं. ये विदाउट ब्रेक मतलब उधर मरना ही है. जैसे तैसे तो किधर जाके रोका. जो ब्रेक हाँ पिछले 6 महीने से नहीं. और बोला क्यों नहीं? मुझे लगा तुझे मालूम. अभी अच्छा वो बोला कुछ होता था और इतना सा टायर है एंड बॉडी इज वेरी स्लिम. और ऐसे हीरो की तरह ऐसे चला के आता था. मुझे लगा चलो ब्रेक तू रोकते कैसे? अरे कुछ नहीं रे ऐसे घुमाने का और पैर नीचे डालना. That is never I take the bikes of anybody or never I take the cycles. Well, it is very dangerous. Now look here. Now when we are doing this one, now if I go with these seasons, now we have already written. Vegetations, it is close to India, or in fact India में 2 जगह. Which are the 2? Mumbai and Kolkata. And then wildlife also you can easily predict. And human habitations you know better than anybody because we are living in India only. So only copy down that points quickly, whichever 2 points. And I'll take you to the next one very quickly. Only copy down 2 points. Then we will go into Mediterranean.
Temporary transplants.
That we have completed. Mediterranean region is a true Buddha. We will be studying that 6.
So can I please have
water.
After lecture?
With me because discussion.
No, I have to make a small file to take print of it.
No problem. I'll leave you 5 minutes early. Going down is it?
No, in class.
Why did I scold you every time? Not my heart throat, man. I was messaging गाड़ी बार ऐसे कुछ अलग मैसेज नहीं छोड़ा है ना. ये तो कल
मैसेज छोड़ने के लिए मुझे मेरा फोन का स्क्रीन चला के नहीं.
अरे तो तेरा मम्मी पापा को बोल के इधर ऑफिस में ऐसा बोल नहीं कर रहा ना. I don't know
मैंने
about
अपने दोस्तों को भी पता है कि
हाँ but ठीक है. I don't know about other teachers. इसको बोल हर लेक्चर में पूछता था. तो इसे बोले सर वो घाव गया रे सर वरना तो मैसेज छोड़ता. अरे but how do you know that you make a connection? ना unless until you do not pass a message to him. Then next time what you will do, you pass a message down and tell specifically his teacher to answer the book. Whoever it is, your favorite. है ना?
सर ऐसा पूछ रहे हो कि बता.
नहीं it's up to you. Because there is nobody called favorite. मेरा favorite बोलेगा तो the teacher based on which I become an economics teacher. I can't forget her face till now. Mrs. Gaitonde. She was a I told you ना. Gem of a teacher. पर अंदर एक अलग एक appetite. सब लोग ये तो जाता नहीं है. And लोग मेरे friends एक बोलेंगे मैडम आपकी लड़की का उम्र क्या है? Why do you want? And she used to tell me, very beautiful, कभी आना घर पे. मतलब अच्छी लेडी है, इन लोग उसको बहुत सताएंगे. Now let us go into this Mediterranean. The Mediterranean region itself is, we can say, वो location देख जा.
Margin of Mediterranean Sea.
So it is, we can say, in and around. है ना? The Mediterranean Sea. And normally these are beaches, है ना? These are flatlands. And throughout the year, अभी इसमें कुछ tricks है. These summers are generally with good rainfall, है ना? And winters are dry. और भी एक word है, picturesque location आएगा, ये आएगा explanation में. Any idea what is this word?
Picturesque.
Whichever part of the Mediterranean you go, you see normally it is of tourist attraction. So I name any beaches, whether it is Hawaii, whether it is all other things, they all come under. Now look at this. Miami udhar chalenge. Not beaches are not here. Miami अलग है. So look at this. So love to see हमारा भी एक छोटा सा खोली होता है. खोली होता तो कितना अच्छा होता. Let's check it. Hey, it is 19 only now. कैसे? We are in 35.
Yes.
Good, right?
अब 30 कुछ better है.
मैं तेरा तो काम है.
हाँ.
क्या कर रहा है क्या कुछ?
हाँ, वो एक है
मनोज के लगे गुड है. मुझे लगता है मैं भी But why every Thursday only you get something together? Why is it so?
because on Fridays there is important work to do.
ठीक है. तो हम लोग मेडिटेरियन फिनिश कर लेंगे, है ना?
Yes sir.
Now they will start.
सर तो next Sunday भी आना है. Next Thursday.
सर आप किधर है? बहुत अच्छी. आगे से 20 साल हो गया. Look at the locations. Oh, beaches, all the things. Video call किया है, तो साले ने मैसेज कर दिया. That's the Florida and this place. I know this time to that.
Singapore.
No, Singapore doesn't have
Los Angeles. हाँ.
ये बता जल्दी बता.
वो इधर.
The world's most famous sea.
ठीक है ना?
And
आप यहाँ से तो
beaches,
एक कुछ चीज़ वाली.
histories and culture as rich as any on earth. Blessed with one of our planet's finest climates.
Best
It's
climate.
the only one with a dry summer and wet winter.
Did I write correct? Oh,
But you'd be mistaken in thinking that this sea was the only place where such a climate existed. Copied across 4 other continents, this much desired
Good rainfall
climate
during the
is home to a very famous state and 3 very different
मतलब good rainfall during the winter.
countries.
Summer dry, winter.
Correct.
But in all places, this climate just has one name,
Not the winter.
the ancient home of the summer sun, the Mediterranean.
Hey, this is the chain of videos, geodive. All the regions are covered. Hey, that's a. अरे वैसा नहीं की है, उनको ना कुंडली मैं इतना बड़ा होकर भी ऐसा बोल सकती है.
As we continue our journey in this series from equator to poles, it's now time to consider the second of the 3 climates
You need the
occupying
CC,
the temperate areas of the mid-latitudes, the Mediterranean.
कौन सा लड़की रे ब्रांच में सर प्लीज सीसी डालो सर इनका इंग्लिश बोल समझ में नहीं.
This climate zone has a similar temperature range to the humid subtropical that we covered in our last episode.
Painting of it.
Between 20 and 35 degrees in summer and 5 to 20 degrees in winter.
मुझे कभी-कभी से टेंशन आता है बच्चे को
But the most immediate and striking aspect of this climate is in its rainfall pattern. Most world climates have their rainfall peak in the hottest months of the year, while others have year-round rain. But only one reverses the most common pattern. Only the Mediterranean climate has a dry summer and wet winter. To explain this unusual pattern, we have to consider both our earlier episodes on the tropical monsoons as well as the hot deserts. You might want to view those earlier episodes to really get what's about to follow. Due to the 23-degree tilt of the Earth, the convergence of trade winds in the tropics, called the doldrums, shifts north and south throughout the year. The band that lies on the polar side of this band is usually dry due to extensive high pressures brought on by the downward component of the Hadley cell of tropical air.
No, that is opposite.
In summer, this band of high pressure is
Look
pushed
how this
out
hot winds
poles,
become
away from the hot deserts and into the temperate zone, causing a long drought in this season.
मुझे बस कलर की
In winter,
अरे hot winds becoming cold winds becoming hotter.
or in the other hemisphere, so the high pressure area
दोनों अलग
also
अलग
follows
है.
back that way. This allows more unstable air to return in the form of oceanic westerly winds, which, when blown onto westward-facing coasts, bring rain. This explains why the Mediterranean climate zones lie on the western fringes of each continent. The presence of the Mediterranean Sea at just the right latitude allows these westerlies to gather continual moisture as they travel east, extending the winter rain all the way to the coasts of Lebanon and Israel at the far end of the sea. The consistency of this climate type is well illustrated by comparing city graphs from the west to the east of the Mediterranean. We'll talk more about the westerlies in the next episode on the oceanic climate, since they are the dominant component of weather in those regions, lying immediately poleward to the Mediterranean areas. Because the Mediterranean summer is uniquely drought-filled compared to all other climates except deserts, this peak season heat is accompanied by low humidity,
Now the
what
ice
Californians love to call a dry heat, as perspiration is more efficient in dry air. This heat is a good deal more comfortable than, say, the humid summers of Georgia or Florida at the same latitude.
कॉलेज का स्टूडेंट के साथ
There are two subdivisions of the Mediterranean climate within the common classification system, both of which share the dry summers and wet winters just described, and differing only by temperature range. The first and most common form is CSA, which experiences a hot summer of at least 22 degrees averaged across the 9-day cycle. This is known as the hot summer Mediterranean, where the average summer temperature is below 22 degrees. This is known as the warm summer Mediterranean and has the common code CSB.
Now look what they are saying. This summer day and night, it is just about 22 degrees. Okay. So can we say in India it is very hot or cold? It is cold.
It's hot.
अरे just about 22 degree.
Yes, it's hot.
भाई हमारा इंडिया का टेम्परेचर is 33, 32 plus.
Hot.
Then only hot. It is just 22 and above. तो hot कहाँ से हुआ? For you and me, 23 years also become ठंडी वैसे होता है. ना तो फिर काहे नाय.
So where in the world do we find the Mediterranean climate? Well, the short answer is on every inhabited continent except Asia, which lacks the necessary west coast. We begin in Europe and the sea from which this climate gains its name. To the west of the Mediterranean, out in the Atlantic, littorals experience warm, dry summers and wet winters. Moving east onto the Iberian Peninsula, we find the cooler CSB variant of warm summers and very wet winters in the north of Portugal and northwestern Spain. Further south, we move into the hot summer CSA variant that Portugal's capital of Lisbon experiences, along with most of Spain and its capital Madrid. In the extensive interior of this peninsula, however, some areas are so dry that they are classed as cool semi-desert. We'll pick these up in a future episode. The wet winters that define the Mediterranean type extend deep into Morocco on the North African coast. As we move east into the western Mediterranean basin, the entire Algerian coast and northern Tunisia also fall within this climate. All the islands in this area have this climate: the Balearics, Corsica, Sardinia, Sicily, and Malta. The north coast includes the luxurious Côte d'Azur of France, and this coast extends east into Italy, the heart of the Mediterranean, where the dry summer, wet winter pattern extends inland across all western and southern provinces, including the nation's capital, the Eternal City, Rome. Continuing east across the Adriatic Sea, much of the coast of Croatia and all of Albania are within this climate zone, along with all of Greece, including its legendary capital of Athens, and all of the Greek islands. Now firmly into the eastern Mediterranean basin, we reach the long coastline of Turkey, where the wet winters and dry summers extend well inland, encompassing that country's largest city, the ancient metropolis of Istanbul. Finally, at the eastern end of the Mediterranean, the coast turns south into Syria, Lebanon, and Israel, including the cities of Damascus, Beirut, and Jerusalem. In North America, the entire west coast of the United States comes under the influence of this climate. From the coasts of Washington and Oregon in the north, with their very wet winters, this is the largest area on Earth where we experience the warm summer CSV variant of this climate. As we head south into California, the winters become shorter and drier, the summers longer and hotter, and we have the classic CSA Köppen variant. An exception is San Francisco, which stays much cooler than the surrounding area due to the proximity of cold ocean currents, which often shroud the city in fog. As we reach Southern California and the massive conurbation of Greater Los Angeles, fog and coastal cloud is still present but less common, and summers hotter, especially as one moves further inland away from the cool ocean. The last stops for this climate zone are the cities of San Diego and Tijuana, lying on each side of the US-Mexico border, before the climate gives way to the hot desert of Baja. Moving now into the southern hemisphere and South America, we encounter this climate in the cooler CSV form, worlds away from its namesake, along the mid-coast of that longest of countries, Chile. It's in the zone where most of that country's population is, including the main port of Valparaiso and the capital Santiago. In Africa, south of the Namib Desert, we find the extreme southwest of South Africa, caught by the wet winter westerlies of the Mediterranean climate, most notably around the city of Cape Town, famous for its dramatic backdrop of Table Mountain. The last continent to experience this climate zone is Australia, where it brushes two parts of the south and west-facing coasts, firstly around Perth, the most isolated city in the world in the far west, and again around the mid-southern city of Adelaide. Despite its dispersal across so many continents of the globe,
Now look here, this is Tel Aviv, where now the fighting is going on in Ukraine. Cape Town, Perth again, Australia, Adelaide.
Los Angeles
the Mediterranean climate is proven as a particular and consistent type by comparing temperature and rainfall graphs across each of these areas. So,
Voice is simply faster, more natural, and more flexible than turbine.
उधर के बीच का है
There.
नहीं GTA 5 नंबर नहीं सुना
So what kind of landscapes and vegetation do we find in the Mediterranean climate? Throughout the world, plants have adapted to survive the drought of summer, which, occurring at the hottest time of the year, places a particular challenge due to the very high evapotranspiration rates. The CSA hot
You show me that file. What do you want to do? Playboard.
yes
And you start solving that one question and show me, and then you run away.
I wrote that question
No. I'm for him. I was saying, not for
he
you.
also wrote that I have to take photos from AI, animated photos, frame it off in a Word file.
And what is the project?
The project is to make a family tree related to an chapter. It has different characters like
English.
melodrama, family melodrama.
And who is the author of that chapter? Anonymous. The family tree.
Fourth वाला सुखी डाली
Yes. I don't confirm. I'm very bad.
सुखी डाली
No, but अभी क्या करेगा यार?
उपेंद्रनाथ अश्क
Ashkar. And my Hindi was very good, but then I never talked in Hindi. I used to be a third topper in Hindi. हिंदी ना
27 out of 80.
हाँ तो that is what we are together on this. एक बार मेरा हिंदी में कभी बदतमीज आप टॉप नहीं लाते मैडम नेक्स्ट टाइम आएगा बोले कैसे आप अच्छे से करेक्शन करना मेरे से मुंह लड़ाता है मैडम आप ही ने तो पूछा this is for fun.
हमारा पीसीसी आता है.
वो खुद ही बदतमीज है. Hey, do the project. You want any help? Your exams are done and when is the results going to come?
6
December.
अब मेरा 8 दिसंबर को था.
Open house रहेगा ना?
नहीं,
नहीं उसका है.
मेरा यूनिट टेस्ट चालू है. 20 marks. हाँ?
Next last week what has happened? I came early at 6:20 को तरह के.
हाँ.
Then I got मालूम तो सर आपका लेक्चर ही नहीं मतलब कुछ गाने चलने का मन कर रहा है ठीक है जाता हूँ and that time my mother was alone and I had to be with her. Hello, खाली case. There is one more ना what is that chat GPT से भी अच्छा है
DeepSeek.
नहीं perplexity
Perplexity. एयरटेल का है.
अच्छा है क्या?
शायद से.
मैंने लिया था बट मैंने chat GPT ज़्यादा यूज किया.
Wow. Stop creating image. Miracles.
McDonald's का next क्या है?
तेरे जैसा.
Hey, now do the project. I've given time for you only, especially. If you remember, why you want that? कल तो Friday है.